Ladies and gentlemen, please give a warm welcome to John Petersen of the Arlington Institute.
Thank you.
That was fun.
Yeah, you're right.
Good to see you.
Thank you. So, for the last half hour of our wonderful day today, what I thought we'd do is we'd do a What's Up session. Now, many of you have come to me and told me today, and it's been really kind of nice of you all, how much you've appreciated Quartet and What's Up and what we do together. And Gregg and I get together every 2 weeks and spend about a half an hour just chatting. And so that seemed to be a reasonable format for us to do this afternoon, and it also gives us a little content that we can that we can send out.
Well, the way this started, so John is kind enough that he makes the drive from Berkeley Springs all the way to Dulles Airport to pick me up, and then we have this drive back, and we always have had a really good conversation on the way back.
Still do.
And still do. And people have said, wow, we would like to hear those conversations. So we were going to do like a GoPro, in the camera in the car so we could record it. We haven't got that far yet. So John proposed, he says, why don't we just do this every couple of weeks? We'll do the live Zoom with Quartet, and then we'll do this. And so we do. And we didn't do one this week because we're doing it right here. So that's a little history of where What's Up comes from, because John used to say, so Gregg, what's up?
Yeah.
What's up?
So I'll say it again here in just a minute. And so this is obviously unscripted and unstructured. So there we go.
So John, what's on your mind?
No. I got to set it up, man. Come on.
Live TV.
Okay,
what do you
here we go. So hello, my friends, and welcome to What's Up. It's so nice to have you with us tonight. This is an evening on Saturday where we've just finished a marvelous day with Gregg Braden. I'm John Petersen from the Arlington Institute, and hi, Gregg. How are you, my friend?
Hi, John. I just caught on to what is actually happening. Yeah. I didn't know that this was being filmed for a later time. I thought it was just... So that's how unscripted this whole thing is. So I am exceptionally well.
Yeah.
I am.
There you are.
I'm feeling better than awesome. I'm in Berkeley Springs with you and a couple hundred people of our closest friends and a few hundred streaming.
A live audience today. Yeah, it's great. Well, it's been a wonderful day. We really enjoyed this. And so what's up, huh? What you been thinking about? Other than all day long, what you've been talking about.
I've been thinking about a lot.
Yeah.
Which camera are we looking at? Is it anyone?
She switches in the back.
I'm going to look at this camera right here. So, by the way, these are 3 cameras. These little things that they don't look like cameras, but that's what they are. So, John, I'm watching the world. Yeah. I don't have a TV at home. I don't plug into the world, but I've been traveling to come to see you. I'm on my way to Peru right after. I'll be in Peru in just about 48 hours, actually, 72 hours. And I'm watching the way that our communities are responding to the changes in the world. And it's really interesting because there are stages, and some people are so ready for change, and some people are so afraid of the change because of the uncertainty of what's on the other side of the change. They don't know what it means, and they'd rather cling to the hurt and the suffering of what is familiar, and you've all heard this before, and there are lifestyles that do this. They'd rather cling to that than bless and let go the things that no longer serve them. And so I think about this a lot, and I was watching on the plane when I was coming here. And it's so apparent that when we fill ourselves emotionally and psychically and mentally, and we all do this to some degree, we fill ourselves with the mental images of the way that we think the world should be and the expectations of what used to be remaining. So we say, well, the world doesn't look like it used to, so it's not normal. And so we're looking for normal. And when I had conversations with people, when we are so filled with those expectations, where is the room for the new? Where's the room for the new things that can come?
You know, I've been thinking about the same thing this week, as a matter of fact. Don't move too far.
No, I must look at you.
You know, we're all spring-loaded. The society, everything is spring-loaded for consistency and predictability, right? And we don't have this innate kind of ability to kind of dance and adjust, and particularly in high rates of change. And I think of it in terms of kind of the difference between football and soccer. Americans are all kind of into football. And football, you start something, then you stop and you reset, and then you start it again and you reset, and so on. And so we're all fixated to try to, you know, go finish school, then reset and go to another school maybe, or get a job, or then get married or something, and there's just kind of these regular kind of predictable kind of transition points. And it's not like soccer. Soccer is this thing that's highly dynamic, it never ends, and it keeps moving, and it's always change. And in the futures business, you know, it's a common thing that says that the only change is that there is no change, and that it exists all of the time. And so there is almost a mindset, a space where we all have to get into to be able to effectively deal with this world that's emerging, because it is so highly dynamic and different than what we're used to, and we kind of always want it to be. I heard something on the radio the other day, and they were making a big case about, I don't remember where it was, but something like this group, this indigenous or native group or some other kind of thing, we're going to have to move or do something differently because of whatever the situation was. And it's almost like we have a presumption that nothing should change.
This is it. So this is exactly what I was going to say. And so I thought about, why are people having such a hard time? And it's what you're saying. We are conditioned, and I'm part of this, and I recognize it. I was born and raised in a very conservative rural community in northern Missouri, out north of Kansas City, Missouri. And the expectation was that the world is static.
Yeah.
So if it's a rural area, if it didn't rain when it rained last year, the thinking was something was wrong. And if people, what was interesting is I had a class reunion, high school class reunion recently. I won't tell you which one. But it was interesting because some of our friends are gone. They've passed. And the ones that are remaining, they looked at me and they said, "Gregg, why did you leave us?" They saw that I left them, and I never thought of it. I thought of going to college and going to a different life. They all stayed relatively close to where their parents lived in northern Missouri. High school, a lot of high school sweeties got married. They had kids at the same time, so the kids could grow up together. And they said, "You know, you're the one that left us." And because to stay there was what was expected, and they wanted everything to be the same as it was, you know, in their generation before and before that. So it is, I think it's our conditioning. We're programmed to think of the world in terms of a static world. Yeah. And so then we're conditioned, if something changes, that something is wrong, something is broken. Yeah. Climate is a perfect example, and we mentioned this earlier, but the economic system is, the economic system and the stock markets are a reflection of mass investor psychology. So you want to know what, and it used to be anyway, when it was a better market. Now it's, you know, just a few companies are determining what happens here. But it was a way of seeing what people, you know, where they were and what they were thinking. So I think for the first time in a long time, we're at this place, this crossroad, where there's so much uncertainty.
Yeah.
And it's not in one place. It's like across the board, and that's where people are. Let me just ask our live, we don't usually do this live audience. How many of you are feeling that your future is not as certain as it used to be? Is anybody feeling that at all?
Any of you out of touch with reality?
Yeah. So, okay, so here's the question. How do you feel about that uncertainty? Excited? And I'm just saying this for our streaming audience. Some are excited, some are anxious. What else did I hear? I didn't hear what you said. Oh, don't like it. You know, it was, so here's where it really hit me, John. When we plan events, I have a staff, and we have invitations from all over the world. Every year, we're blessed. We're blessed to have a joyously full plate, is the way my office manager of 27 years, her name is Lori, we celebrated 27 years working together. I said, what's the secret of working together with me for 27 years? She said, the secret is I never see you because I'm in Florida and you're in New Mexico. So that was the secret to the longevity. I
know some marriages like that.
Some marriage, that's a different workshop. That's a whole different work. We could do that at Transitions. So we sat down with my calendar in last year, and we said, okay, we're coming out of COVID. Let's see. And the strangest thing happened, because my mind wanted to say yes to all the invitations and all my friends in Europe and Australia and Asia and everywhere. And then I sat down to sign some contracts, because John and I have no contracts. We work on a handshake, and I like that. I like that. Relatively few people, but
it works, yeah.
And it came time, and I just couldn't sign. I said, I don't know why, but I don't feel with certainty that I can commit to being on your stage on this day, on this month. So I don't want you to put down $250,000 on a venue to reserve it if I'm not going to be there. And I had to be okay with not having that certainty and just saying, I don't know where the world is going, and I don't know what I'm going to be doing, and then be okay with that.
Yeah, so how do you move that into kind of a mindset or a lifestyle or some other kind of things into this basic flexibility? I talk about it being able to dance, Yeah. How do you change that? Because it's a fundamental kind of thing going forward, and it has to be the essence of this new world that emerges, right? Yeah. It can't be, at the very least, when the new world shows up, what you've got is a whole bunch of people who are the kind of the denizens, the originators of this new world, and they have in the back of their mind this crazy thing we just went through that just blew the whole world up, and it was full of uncertainty and everything. We don't want to ever do that one again. So there's some kind of a mind shift that needs to happen here going forward.
I think we're seeing it. Maybe you all have noticed this. Have you noticed how your friends and family, everybody you talk to now, we talk about the world in terms of before and after the lockdowns? Have you all noticed that? Before and after COVID. And so I think that was it gives us an idea of how we're going to respond, because there is incoming. And remember, that's why I wanted you to see the cymatics droplet this morning. You're going to think about that a lot, because to get to those higher orders, those beautiful symmetrical higher orders, the system has to break down to accommodate that, because it's unsustainable in its form. And I think you all probably feel we're living a lot of unsustainability here. We can't, it's like a rubber band that's stretched so tight, something's got to give. And I don't know where it will give. I have my ideas, I don't know with certainty where it will give first. And I think when that give happens, we will then do what you're saying.
That's an argument for a vision, right? Something out of the back end in your mind's eye that says that this chaos is not going to last forever. It's going toward a particular place, a new world, if you will. And that the sooner we start to get that together, the sooner it provides kind of the hope through all of the uncertainty and the chaos that's in town. I want to remind everybody that this comes from the Arlington Institute, and Gregg and I get together in this unscripted kind of way every fortnightly, every 2 weeks, and we invite you to come and join us. You can find all the information at arlingtoninstitute.org. And we thank you and all of you for this, and Thank you.
And thank you all. Thank you all for a beautiful day together. We appreciate you all. John Petersen, Arlington Institute, Tech in the back of the room, our bookstore over here, Star Theater. I want to thank you all. We love you all, and please thank whoever you go home to for sharing you with us for the day today. Love you. Take care. Bye-bye.